Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello and welcome to the National League. Chelsea are on fire. People are saying, someone said actually, a pundit said that they're challenging for the league actually this season. That's actually a true story. Someone said that they're challenging for the league. Liverpool, on the other hand, signed a goalkeeper instead of signing a DM, but Gravenberch actually can do the job, and Arne Slot is cooking with these guys. Arsenal finally won at Villa Park to prove a point. A statement win by Arsenal, of course. And like, to be honest, a brilliant game probably by Villa. Good game, good chances. And Arsenal at the end, they did what a big team does. They actually just finished the game, took the 3 points, went back to London, caught Man City, who smashed Ipswich, and Haaland breaking records. 10th hat-trick already for Manchester City. I'm not sure if they are playable. The story is, they are winning without Phil Foden. Do they actually need Phil Foden? That is the story. And Matt Wakey getting levels. Cole Palmer, 4 GA in one game, assisting one player 3 times, something that happened, I think, like 6 times in the history of the Premier League. That was an impressive win by Enzo Maresca. But I'm here with the guys, of course. Tom is back after taking a break. His PC was, to be honest for him, to be fair to him, his PC was off last episode, so he couldn't be here. Ahmed is here. Dan is going to be here next episode. But Ahmed, amazing appearance for the 3rd time on the National League. And Rory, Talks Football, is here. Rory is a happy man. Happy man after Arsenal win. Nobbins is going to be here momentarily. He's late a little bit, of course. Over 200 people right off the bat. Hit that like button. Let's get to 200 likes, guys, right off the bat, because it helps the show. Get your opinions in, because this is not going to be a controversial show. Liverpool won, Arsenal won, Chelsea won, Man City won. There is nothing to talk about. There is nothing to talk about. Of course. And Michael
Wait,
Ramsey.
why was
Big up
I
Michael.
getting blamed for us being late? I've only just seen the comment. Why'd you put the blame on me?
I
I'm
didn't.
not the one.
The chat did.
No, hold on. There's a very clear message there from Footy JUDGEMO saying blame Tom Little before anyone else does anything.
It's not me. HUSAM actually has the keys to this account. It's not me, it's HUSAM. HUSAM actually has the code for this account. It's not me.
Right, yeah. Listen, I'm going to clear the air, people. I'm not the latest one. As you can see, Nobbins is clearly later. But Mo, we have a lovely little group chat, and Mo told us 3 p.m.
Yes, I did.
You did do that. If I hadn't clarified it, Nobbins literally wouldn't be turning up.
Actually, if Rory didn't actually message everyone and say, by the way, it's 2, not 3, everyone would have showed up an hour late. Everyone would have showed up an hour late.
So don't blame me.
I'm going to tell you why you blame Tom. I'm going to tell you why. Rory said he's going to be on time. 2 o'clock on the dot, Rory logged in. Ahmed messaged me and said, Mo, I will be 10 minutes late because I have an issue. Nobbins messaged and said, I'm going to be late. So I am starting the show knowing that 2 people will be here. Rory and Tom. Rory showed up. 7 minutes later, Tom is like, oh, I need to log in. So basically, you are late because other people said...
I have been battling a...
I've heard that, Rory. I've heard that. I don't know what is this.
This little
I don't know
thing
what the hell's going on.
Is what saved us. This little thing right here is what saved me from not being able to stream for about a week. So you can thank that.
And the people missed you, to be honest.
Good. I'm sure they missed my...
Do you know what? HUSAM blamed you for everything, knowing that you can't stream.
That's what that man does.
Listen, guys, hit that like button. And I want to actually, we're going to do something in the chat, guys. But before, Michael Ramsey, big up, look in the mirror before you and HUSAM call people donkey, boycott Futimo, and This Is Football. Number 1, it's called Don HUSAM. It's not This Is Football. I called Havertz a donkey, right? And I called Darwin Núñez a donkey when he came on the pitch. I did this. And I'm still doubling down on it. And I'm still saying that Raheem Sterling is the most overrated player in the history of the Premier League. Hands down, he is. But listen, people, I want people in the chat. Raheem Sterling is the most overrated player in the history of the Premier League.
I mean, overrated potentially, but not the most overrated of all time.
I think he is.
The man's got over.
I'm going to explain. By the way, people need to Google the word overrated. By the way, if you are a 7 out of 10 player and you are rated as a 10, that is the definition of overrated. I'm not saying he's a horrific player. I'm saying he's just so over. People put him in the same category as the Salah, the Hazards, and Giggs, bro.
They don't.
Seriously.
Who does that?
I'm going to tell you.
Who does that?
I'm going to tell you. People put him in the top 10 wingers. And in these 10 wingers, look at the list. Robert Perez, Mohamed Salah, Ryan Giggs, Eden Hazard, Cristiano Ronaldo. Who else? Because I remember that list had like amazing names, right?
I can try and find it. It's a top 10
on Twitter. Someone posted it on Twitter, and I'm like, top 10 wingers. Also, there is one more thing that people need to understand. Being in the top 10 wingers, that means you're putting him in the same category as these guys. Maybe he's 10th. But I think Raheem Sterling deserves his own category below these guys. You cannot be lumped in with these people. You just can't.
But by definition, if you're doing a top 10, and okay, you've got the Hazards and the Salahs at the top, and someone has to be in 10th, who's probably not in the same bracket as.
No, but
in the same way, if you did a top 10 strikers, you'd have people that were in the same list as a Kane. Or whoever you put at the top, that's probably not on the same level as the. But I'm gonna tell.
So let me explain to you how it works. When people do these lists, they do them for a reason. You could have done top 8, top 5. You choose top 10 to lump that guy with these guys, to put his name with them. Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean by saying? By the way, if I'm ranked, because I can say top 20 strikers. Yes, someone is doing some madness. I can say top 20 strikers, right? I can just say that.
Yeah,
or I can say top 10.
But top 10 is like just a well-known round number that you do. You do top 10.
I think it's fraudulent to put Raheem Sterling. Do you agree? Do you think Raheem Sterling deserves to be in the same category? Same conversation with Salah and Hazard and Giggs. Do you think he deserves?
10, yeah.
But he's not in the same conversation because we're not saying is Raheem Sterling at the top of this top 10 list. No, he's in the top 10 list, but he's not at the top of it.
I think you have to look at who's number 5 to number 10. To be honest, who's like in the number 5 to number 10 range? Would you say? Because
I found the list. Let's do it like that. Actually, forget the games in the weekend. We'll talk about the games, right? Let me just do the super chat, and then we'll go through the freaking wingers in the history of the Premier League, right? X page here, appreciate you so much for the super chat. And he's called. I blame Tom still. I explained it. You have to blame Tom. We have to blame Tom. We have to. Who else?
What is this agenda, man? What is this agenda?
It's not an agenda. You're always on time. You weren't on time today. You're before everyone. All the time. You weren't.
That was a shock. It's a shock when I'm on time.
It was. JJ, big up JJ Habibi. Like Footy JUDGEMO and subscribe if you haven't. Come on, you Gooners. I am someone who's neutral. You know, I can say glory, glory, Man United. I can say up the Chelsea. I don't care. HUSAM wouldn't. Someone messaged HUSAM before £50 to say glory, glory, Man United. He just wouldn't say it. But listen, people, 500 people in the house. Let's get the lights up because you guys are slacking. And I have a poll. I'm actually really intrigued to know how many Liverpool or Arsenal fans or people, because Arsenal or Liverpool are closing in, and Chelsea as well. And even the Man community in the poll. But listen, top 10 wingers. Who's your top winger in the history of the Premier League? And people in the chat, I want you guys to get involved in this. Let me know. I will start with Ahmed.
The best winger in Premier League history.
Yeah, best winger. And by the way, winger, inside forward, they're all I'm not going to do this semantics of this guy an inside forward.
A guy who plays on the wing, doesn't matter the role.
And score goals or whatever. Yes, just do it. Salah money included, Hazard included.
Okay.
Well, I was going to be a bit biased, but not. If I'm being honest, obviously CR7 probably would be either number 1 or number 2. So I'll say CR7 to start with. Pretty easy.
I agree.
I am going to be biased. I'm going to say Salah.
But he's definitely number 2. Salah
hold on. Salah, if you are putting a starting 11 tomorrow,
Salah's going.
I'm glad the only rational guy on the panel has just arrived. He's here, and
Mo, you do realize that you do realize that this is now going to mean that we have an extra argument for our Raheem Sterling as a top 10 Premier League winger of all time. It's not an outlandish take because he's a potential club legend at that man's club.
I was going to say, I've not even been here for like the past 20 minutes, obviously, because Mo got the time wrong, but I guarantee one of these 3 things has happened. Rory's had a go with the 115 somehow, sneakily, with me not being here. Tom has had a go at me for being late when it wasn't my fault. Or, maybe the more likely one, based on what Tom said, I guarantee Mo has either had a go at one of Foden or Grealish or some other sort of City player who I love, and it sounds like it's the latter there.
Mo said that Raheem Sterling is the most overrated player in Premier League history.
Of course he did.
So now we're going through the top 10 wingers in Premier League history because Mo is offended that if you have Raheem Sterling in 10th, you're comparing him to the likes of Hazard, Salah, etc., who you'd have in like the top 3 or 4. And we're trying to explain that you're not comparing them if they're just on the same list.
A man being 10th and a man being 1 doesn't mean I'm comparing them.
Yeah,
I'm lumping them in the same. Okay.
Well, also, there was also a period of like 3 years where Sterling was one of the best wingers in the world. In fairness, from like 2017 through to 2020, he was.
But, so what Mo was asked us now is to name all who we think is the best Premier League winger.
Quickly, we can go 5 minutes in this.
We've heard Ronaldo, and I've said Salah.
Right. Okay. Hazard.
Bale.
Giggs. Someone has to say Giggs.
Yeah, you can have Giggs.
Do we have to have Giggs?
I mean, is Giggs? I mean, I thought we were just doing like who is in your opinion the best. I wouldn't say Giggs is the best Premier League winger of all time, but yes,
no, he's not. But it's an argument,
right? So it's who's in the top 10. Okay, so Mane's in the top 10 as well. Then
Mahrez 100%.
Mahrez is definitely for sure.
I think Sterling's in the same like tier as your Mahrez and your Manes.
So
hold on.
So
Can I hear this again? I didn't hear.
Ronaldo.
Sterling is in the same conversation with Mahrez and Mane.
If we did like a tier list, then obviously at the top you'd have Salah, Hazard, blah, blah, blah. And then if in whatever the tier below that or the tier below that is, then I think that's what you'd have.
That's why that's why you're in the middle. Nobbins actually cracked the code. That's what I'm talking about, Rory. There has to be tiers here. There has to be tiers.
That's if you want to make a video about tiers, then yeah, I agree. Sterling isn't in the same tier. But if you're doing a top 10 list, but you have to have a 10.
Okay, let's do tier. Okay, I like this, Nobbins. I like this idea is better, Nobbins. Tiers. Tier 1. Who would we put in tier 1?
But that then doesn't invalidate our point either. Sterling
it doesn't.
Still makes
okay,
the
you
top
guys
10.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. We'll see. But we'll see. Hold on. We'll see, guys.
No, because Mo, that would only make your point about Sterling being overrated true if we were all trying to put Sterling in the top tier. But we're not.
Yes.
I think Sterling will go in tier 3. Tier 3. Not even tier 2. Tier 3. And we'll see. You will see. You will see.
How many tiers?
What are the tiers?
Hold on. Let me just put the rules of the game. Okay, we can go as many tiers as we want if we want to put someone. It doesn't matter. You can say McNeil, right? If you want to include McNeil. Tier number 1. Who gets lumped together in the same tier? My opinion: Salah, Hazard, R9, Ryan Giggs. Anyone want to add a name to this?
I'm not thinking Giggs in that top tier.
I wouldn't have R9 in it.
Wait, hold on.
Sorry, CR7. CR7.
R9 if it's played Ethiopia. Yeah.
CR7.
I just
He
let
didn't
that
even play in the
slide.
Premier League. CR7, Salah. Okay, so CR7, Salah. We said Hazard, Bale. But Bale cannot be there.
Bale can be.
Bale as a player.
Towards the end,
Bale
bro,
as a
he was
player
untouchable.
would have been top.
The thing about Bale is that didn't he play
long enough?
Yes, exactly.
He
But if
wasn't a top tier winger for long enough, in my
But
opinion.
if longevity and success plays into it, then Sterling has to be further up.
Not success.
Yeah.
Okay. Not success. I'm going to tell you why. We cannot judge players based on the trophies that the club won. We have to judge them based on their ability. Because Mohamed Salah then won Champions League and 2 Champions Leagues. One.
Well, that's why he's up there.
One.
And it's not compared. Eden Hazard hasn't won the Champions League and won 2 league titles only. He wouldn't be compared to Giggs if we gotta be fair. So we have to put it onto all of them together. The ability, the way they affected the game individually, by the way. That is a big deal.
Sanchez is not going in tier 1.
Sanchez tier 2.
Tier 2 Sanchez, I would say, honestly.
For me, Bale's tier 1. Bale's the best winger at his peak is the best winger I've ever seen.
I think in tier 1 for me, Riyad Mahrez, Mohamed Salah, CR7, Eden has Mahrez.
I love Mahrez. I wouldn't have him tier 1.
Mahrez won the league with Leicester. Mahrez won Player of the Year with Leicester City.
Yeah, but I'm not putting Jamie Vardy in the top tier of strikers in the Premier League, even though he won the Premier League with Leicester and was crucial in that as well.
Are we putting Wes Morgan in the top tier of centre backs?
Yeah.
Like Mahrez is comfortably tier 2. 100% he's comfortably tier 2. But my tier 1 is players who have a strong argument to go into an all-time Premier League 11. That's tier 1. The best of the best. For that, there's 3 or 4 names. You've got Giggs, Hazard, Ronaldo, Salah.
I can live with this. Second, Bale, Mahrez, Mane. Can I put Mane there?
Yeah,
I'll put Mane there.
Sanchez. That's it for me. Youngman's son. Did anybody put Youngman's son?
See, but if I'll be honest, if Sanchez is getting into tier 2, Sterling gets into tier 2.
Exactly, I agree with that.
I actually don't think Sterling is anywhere close to Alexis Sanchez in terms of ability and affecting the game. Sanchez literally at some point was the man for Arsenal up top. And it's not only about scoring goals, was the guy, the go-to guy for Arsenal. That has to be accounted for something. Sterling was never the go-to guy. Sterling benefited massively from Pep Guardiola. And we have
Mahrez
seen
was never
how.
the go-to guy. But Mahrez was never the go-to guy for Man City.
He was never good.
Hold on.
By virtue of being in a Man City
Raheem
team,
Sterling won Player of the Year.
Yeah, there are very few City players that you would ever say they're the go-to guy, because that's just not the way that City play with the squad that they have.
There was a point where I think it was only Messi who had more goal contributions than Sterling. I think it was either 2018 or 2019. Like, so if we're talking about the highest level of players reached, then Sterling's absolutely in this conversation. Yeah, because again, there was like a 2-3 year spell where he was easily one of the.
Whether they use 2018-19 scorer, even if I
2018-19, Sterling won the Football Writers Player of the Year and won Young, albeit he was 24 when he fucking won it, which is a big indictment on the award. But he did win the Young Player of the Year, and he came second behind Van Dijk.
Van Dijk's Ballon d'Or winning,
and that was Van Dijk who very nearly won a fucking Ballon d'Or. By the way, Raheem Sterling, 100% is tier 2, 100%, and it's not an outlandish claim to say that he can't be in these top 10 lists for wingers. I mean, he's got, I don't know the exact numbers. I know he's got over 100 Premier League goals, which is a very elite club to be in, especially for a winger. He's, I don't know his Champions League.
I actually think it's absolutely an insult to someone like Mahrez and Bale to have Sterling with them. That's just me.
How is it an insult?
I'd put Bale a category up, and then you wouldn't have that issue.
No, but
Mahrez as well.
My point with Bale is Gareth Bale for 2 years was fucking exceptional.
Joe Cole is better than Raheem Sterling.
Yes, ability-wise, I would say so. I'd say ability-wise.
Joe Cole. And didn't he win the league twice, back-to-back, being the starting winger for Mourinho's side?
Yes, he did. And he won us the league against Liverpool, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
But then Raheem Sterling won the league 4 out of 5 years.
With Pep Guardiola.
Oh,
so
now
we're doing
He was facing Man United as well, so hey.
Kevin De Bruyne is not a top 10 midfielder because he did it with Pep Guardiola.
No, but that's
Mo's
the point.
Arguments
Kevin De Bruyne.
An indictment on your ability if you are.
No, Kevin. The difference is Kevin De Bruyne, and everyone can see that, is an exceptional player, that arguably one of the best ever midfielders in the league. Frank Lampard is. That's why Kevin De Bruyne, Steven Gerrard, for me, Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, and Kevin De Bruyne are the 3 best midfielders. We can have the arguments about who's better, right? That's for me, right? Because of the effect they have on the game. Kevin De Bruyne literally can win you the game on his own. On his own. That is my take. I don't think Raheem Sterling can do this. I'm gonna give you an example here. Majority of the players we mentioned can literally win you multiple games on their own, right? Even if the rest of the team is below par. Bale has Hazard, Salah. You have to look at it like this. CR7, right? Even Alexis Sanchez, right? Raheem Sterling cannot do this. Cannot do this. Maybe I forgot.
He did it in the Centurion. I was going to say he did it in the Centurion year, and he did it in the domestic quadruple year. And I know that we didn't win the league in 1920, but he was also doing it for City then. It was our terrible defending that made us like poor that year. So he definitely did do it for City. Even in 2020-21, when he wasn't like as much in the team, he was still like winning games on his own at times. I don't agree.
On his own, Raheem Sterling can take the game by the scruff of neck and win you the game.
Yes, in 2018-19.
Really? Well, he did it. He also did for...
In 2018-19, when City got 98 and we got 97, if you take Raheem Sterling out that City team, we comfortably win that title.
He gets another winger there, and he scores 20 goals as well.
No,
okay.
So what will the winger under Pepper score 20 goals?
I'm going to tell you the difference. You take Rodri out of City, the system breaks down. You take Kevin De Bruyne out of Manchester City, there is no one to replace him. You take Haaland out of Manchester City, no one replaces them. You take Sterling out, it's okay. He can get another one to score goals. That's my opinion about it.
No, but then Mo, I ask you, which other Man City winger has put up a season with more goals than Sterling has?
I don't know. I don't have the records, to be honest.
There isn't none.
Maybe you can answer.
There's a simple answer. There's none of them. So therefore, no winger can, because they haven't done it. Despite the fact they all played in that same team. Sane played in that same team, didn't do it. Mahrez played in that same team, didn't do it. Doku's never going to do that. I'm sorry.
So you think Raheem Sterling is more important to City than Riyad Mahrez, for example?
As important.
in
I
that
think your
point in
argument.
time,
I think he was a bit. I'll be honest.
2017-18,
He was more important
for
than
a
Mahrez.
2-3 year
He was more
period,
important
Raheem
than Mahrez
Sterling
at
was their
points.
most important winger.
Yeah, he was more important than Mahrez at points. I'll be serious in terms of his goal scoring
Okay,
ability.
if all the panel agree to this, I'll have to take the L. Simple.
In later years, Mahrez took over the importance when Pep wanted more control and less sort of direct wingers, i.e. when he started to phase Sterling out, Mahrez took over importance. But in the 100-point season, Sterling was more important.
Can I? Let me ask you, Tom, a question. Let me ask you, Tom, a question. Simple question. So let me ask you a question. In your opinion, right? Fair opinion. Take money out of your front three, put Raheem Sterling. Do you win the same titles? Do you play the same? Just be honest.
We probably don't win the Champions League, but we do win the Premier League, but we don't play the same now, which is why I don't put... But Sterling and Mane are in similar conversations. I can understand people who want to put them in the same conversations and say that they're on a similar level in terms of Premier League standing. That's fine by me.
The opposite is, I think Mane goes the opposite. That's my opinion. Maybe it's wrong, right? I never claim that I'm always right. I think Mane goes to Manchester City. Pep Guardiola gets more out of him than he got out of Sterling. That's my take. That's my take.
Well, we're now introducing hypotheticals.
But we have to, because this is how we actually compare players.
No, we don't, because then I could say, well, if X player didn't get injured, then he'd be in the top 5 wingers ever. But all we can do is base it off what has happened and go, well, based on all time, we can't go, well, if this happened and that happened. What did happen? And we know what happened.
I'll be honest, I would be very interested to watch Mane in a Pep team, because I don't think he was necessarily the cleanest fit in terms of the play style. I don't think Mane could do the intricate build-up that Pep would have wanted at times, and what Sterling was pretty good at for a number of years. Because that wasn't Mane's game. Mane's game was going into 1v1s against the fullback and driving.
But who would you... Okay, overall, my point about this is, at the end, I'm trying to compare 2 players. So we can look at systems, we can look at this. At the end, if I'm asking you to choose one player to put them on a podium, which one would you choose? Simple. Forget you, Tom, because you're a Liverpool fan. Rory, Arsenal fan. Hate probably both teams equally. And Ahmed. Who would you take to put... We have one medal to give.
Yeah.
The better player. Who would you take? Raheem Sterling or Sadio Mane? Simple.
I would say Sadio Mane.
Probably Sadio Mane. But this conversation started with you saying Raheem Sterling is the most overrated player in Premier League history. And
doubling on it.
I think what we've all agreed is Raheem Sterling is a very good winger who is probably in the second tier of wingers in Premier League history, and no one tries to put him any higher than that. So he is definitively not the most overrated player in Premier League history.
No one here has tried to say... No one here tries to compare him to Hazard, to Salah, to Giggs, or to Ronaldo, who you agreed were in the tier above.
I think Mahrez is better than him. So my take about it is that I think Mahrez, Bale, Mane are better than him. And I can name others. That's my take. By the way, we can disagree on this. Maybe I'll take the L because you guys all agree. So I can't be just the only one that is right here. Maybe I'll just take the L then. Maybe I'll take the L.
I think you could be right about the fact maybe that those players are better than Sterling. I just don't think that means that Sterling's massively overrated, because I think a lot of people would agree with that.
Who's better, Sterling or Giggs?
Giggs, which is why Giggs
is. Does Giggs get in tier 1?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
He'd probably be in tier 1, tier 2. Yeah.
Okay.
He's got the most assists in Premier League history.
I'm just not understanding why you think he's overrated. I don't think we've got to the point of why you think he is overrated. That's the thing. Like, and you're saying
because of what you guys just said. It's the definition of maybe me saying when Rory, Tom, yourself, and Nobbins, that's for Mo, want to put Raheem Sterling in tier 2 with the Mahrezes, right? And the rest of these guys are Mane. I think that is the definition of overrated. But that's Mo. I can say that this player for me is over. And by the way, I don't speak for anybody. I speak for myself. I really think Raheem Sterling is overrated. That's it. Anyway, are we going to discuss the games or?
Yeah.
I like this conversation. It makes the show spicy more. But let me do the super chats.
Do I have to stay in the middle? Can I go now?
Why?
I don't like. I feel like too many eyes are on me. I don't like it. There we go. Thank you.
Yeah, you're now with me, Nobbins.
Hey, big
Regret
up.
your decision.
We.
Anyway, okay, stop playing. Let's go on the show. Guys, there's 800 people here. Let's get the likes up a little bit to 500. Hit that like button. Maximum potential. I unsubscribe to Mo and Husam. Why, ya?
Why would you
Be
pay money to
positive.
say that?
I don't know why you pay
Be
money.
positive. Michael Ramsey, be positive. Like the video. Push the people to like the video instead of this. And then you can unsubscribe. Mookie here is giving his say. Thank you, Mookie Habibi from, of course, Bosnia with all the streaming. A Liverpool fan. CR7, Salah, Giggs. And then Hazard, Beckham, Bale, Ljungberg, Pierce, Mahrez, Son. No particular order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I agree. All of these guys for me are better than Raheem Sterling. So he doesn't even get in the top 10.
I think
Mookie, W's for Mookie. Oh, he forgot about Sadio Mane. He came with a super chat, said I forgot about Sadio Mane. So not even top 11.
I think you can make an argument, though, that Sterling, certain people could put Sterling above the likes of a Freddie Ljungberg.
They could also put him above Heung-min Son based on the fact that Heung-min Son's won zilch.
And as we established before, there is an argument to be made that he could be above Mahrez. Or at least in the same category as Mahrez. So, again, it's not as cut and dry as it seems. I think people downplay exactly what Raheem Sterling has done because of how shit he's been in recent years, i.e. since he's went to Chelsea, where no one, bar Cole Palmer, has been good. But for a number of years at Man City, and even to a lesser extent, starting out at Liverpool, he won a European Golden Boy for being the best young player in the world. Was one of the key attackers in nearly winning a title with a Liverpool team that didn't deserve to be anywhere near that. Then was our top scorer the year afterwards when we were dog shit. Then went to City and went and won what all he won, scoring over 100 goals for the club, breaking all sorts of records for the club, putting himself in conversations with the best wingers in the world at that time, winning individual awards that he was up against some of the best players in the world against. I just think people downplay what he's achieved because, yes, he misses some chances. 100%.
Technical ability or achievement. If technical ability, Adel Tarat will be top of the list. Like if it's technical ability, Adel Tarat. It's about all over as a player, like together. You know what I mean, Chills? It's not about achievements or technical ability. It's just you just have to like analyze the player. Ability-wise, CR7, Suarez, Salah. Suarez is never a winger. Salah, Bale, Hazard, Robin. I don't think Robin did it in the Premier League as much. Like, just to be honest, didn't he leave after 1 year?
He left after like I think 2 years. He went back EPL.
Yeah, you can't have Robin in these discussions.
And the thing is, he was injury prone at Chelsea. He was actually injury prone at Chelsea. Joe Cole was actually, and Damien Duff were the ones that were carrying us.
Damien Duff, man. Jesus.
They got my guy, Damien Duff, man.
Robert Perez has to be firmly tier 2, Tevin is saying.
Yeah.
One of the players that actually got me to watch the Premier League is Robert Perez. Even though I disliked him because of the goal against Italy, because the assist to Trezeguet in 2000. None of you watched that, but fine.
Lad, I weren't even born in 2000.
It broke my heart. That assist to Trezeguet really broke my heart for France in extra time. After Wiltord scored in the injury time to tie the game because Italy were winning 1-0. Hazard 1 Hazard, 2 Ronaldo, 3 Salah, 4 Bale, 5 Giggs, 6 Mane, 7 Mahrez, 8 Sterling, 9 Son, 10 Sanchez. My opinion, my top 10 wingers. Fair enough. See, we're getting somewhere. Thank you so much. But fair enough. That's a good list. That's a good list.
Some big names, but
like who? Mane,
Perez.
Winning didn't Robert Perez win 2 league titles with Arsenal? And he was in the team of the season both times, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And he was the starting winger for France all this time, right? Like I remember that. Robert Perez was.
well.
Yeah. Multiple league titles.
You're on
yes,
mute. You're on
Beckham as
mute,
well.
Rory. So we have no idea what you're saying there.
My bad.
Sounded
There's
really,
a lot
it looked really good.
It was. No, I was going to say there are a lot of players from that era probably that should be on the list that are getting forgotten because we're just all.
I mean, again, listed down to opinions.
Yes, we're all young. Yes.
There'll be some people who put David Ginola in their top 10 because of how good he was on the ball and how exciting he was to watch for a period of time. It comes down to personal preference at the end of the day. But I do think there are certain players who there is a unanimous agreement on where they stand.
Aaron Lennon. What a legend. Aaron Lennon. What a legend.
Aaron Lennon was a footballer. He was a footballer, I'll give you that.
He did play football.
Andre here is saying, someone take Mujenda's internet away for the day. I promise you, it will go away at some point on the show, as it has been doing for the last month or so. So, yeah. Champ here is saying, Lady Mormont from Arsenal Ireland is the worst person to do player ranking. I don't know. Oh, he's talking about Rory.
He's talking about me.
Rory said Rice is better than Lampard and Saliba is better than Terry.
Well, I don't believe I
did. Did you say that? Did you say that?
No, well, no, not technically.
Context.
So it was some bullshit thing I was doing for someone else's channel, and it was like comparing. I think it was Chelsea from like 09-10 or 10-11. Basically, a team that
it was the 09-10 team. I think it's the Ancelotti team. I'm assuming Ancelotti team. Yeah.
Compared to Arsenal last season, and I had to throw a couple of Arsenal players in there, otherwise it'd have been criminal. So, look, do I think Saliba is a better player than John Terry? No. John Terry had an unbelievable career and is probably the #1 centre-back in Premier League history. But it rattled enough people, that's what I'll say, including Champ, who's just cost himself 100, whatever the fuck that currency is.
I think that's rupees, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, there you go. That's 100 rupees you won't get back. Well done. Anyway, Eddie Nketiah, Arsenal have apparently accepted a bid for him from Crystal Palace. David Orson, 1 minute ago.
I just saw that. It's now personal terms.
Let's hope he actually gets his personal terms this time.
Eddie Nketiah's gone. He's not.
Well,
no. He hasn't said
he's
gone.
not. Yes.
No.
Yeah, listen. Personal terms. He's got to agree some personal terms.
Our Palace gonna force out 100 grand a week for him like Arsenal are.
Oh, it's his agency. His agency are scumbags.
You know,
I actually reckon he doesn't want to leave.
100 grand
I actually he didn't want. He didn't want to go to. He didn't want to go to Forest because he wanted to guarantee staying in the Premier League. Forest won't guarantee this. Palace,
you don't think so this season, Mo? I feel like this season they can guarantee. I feel like they would be guaranteed.
Not guaranteed though. Not guaranteed, in my opinion. But yeah.
I mean,
Mookie here is saying, what about Anthony, Mudryk, and Richarlison? Can they make top 100? I don't think Mudryk would make top 100.
That's a much better. I'd happily do this debate on a stream. Listing 100 Premier League wingers better than them. Richarlison probably could like sneak in, but like Anthony, like I would go. I don't
think Mudryk and Anthony can get in there.
No, we could easily. I reckon we could easily name 100 better.
Yeah.
Like, I would happily dedicate 10 minutes to that.
I know Nobbins can. I know that Nobbins is like ready with the 100 list better than Anthony.
I mean, I'm just.
The list is
I'm
ready,
see if anyone's done a list of that already.
Anthony and Mudryk, there's got to be close to 100 current active Premier League wingers that are better than Anthony and Mudryk.
Even though there is only 20 teams.
But if each club's got 4 or 5, then you're pushing it.
Basically 100, yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got you've got a guy that can play multiple positions as well. So
academy players.
Yeah.
I reckon I could name like 6 current City ones already. Like if we're including players who can play on the wing, like at least.
Yeah, exactly.
I could probably push it to 8. If I really wanted to.
Like,
Mr. Link is saying, was Sterling, but Rashford might be taking a trophy. Was Sterling, but Rashford might be taking trophy. I don't know what that means.
Most overrated player.
Most overrated player.
Rashford most overrated now.
On the wing.
Rashford. The difference is Rashford is not rated now. Not even by his own fan base. Rashford is not even rated. Then here is saying Joe Cole is definitely ahead of Son and Freddie L. I don't know Freddie.
Freddie Ljungberg.
Freddie Ljungberg, yeah. Maybe Joe Cole. Joe Cole, I think is underrated at all. Zero Talks is saying, Hala wallah Mo, thank you so much. And big up the panel. Just finished last night, Awa. And wallahi ra'yi, you absolutely had Hamza on ropes. But Hamza waffles a lot. And if you catch him once, he just get into his own thing. He literally said that the reason why a player is not amazing because they can't hold a position. They can't make a position theirs. And I just said, what about Foden?
So versatile players.
So he doesn't like versatile players, basically. Yeah.
No, he was the thing about
Fuck
it.
James
He was
Milner.
trying.
Fuck James
He
Milner,
was
he's
trying
shit.
to. He was trying to get on someone's case by telling them. I can't remember the player we were talking about yesterday, and he said, "Yeah, but that player cannot hold the position, cannot make it his." And I'm like, "Okay, but this Foden doesn't." And he's like, "But
Basically,
Foden is
every City
versatile."
player.
Yeah. So. Anyway, yours truly, Hanzor, said, big up, guys. Sterling is a bum. The guy isn't even our legend. 22-23 Grealish is bigger than any Sterling. The guy isn't reliable. His IQ is lower than Doku's IQ is overrated.
No.
Wow, that's crazy. I can't even lie to you.
I find that
crazy super chat.
As a City fan,
That is a crazy super chat.
Mental super chat, bro.
Yeah.
I would take Doku over Sterling, but yeah, that's just me.
And 2024, so would I.
I think currently, yes, you would take Doku over Sterling. Yeah, I would agree.
Okay,
but he's good, United, man. Enjoy United,
guys.
You know what I mean?
There is.
How old is Doku now?
22.
22. How old? What was Sterling doing when he was 22?
Being a centurion.
Actually, you can't compare this because this argument goes against Mohamed Salah.
Can.
Someone told me, oh, what was Mohamed Salah doing at the age of 22? Like, Mohamed Salah came from Al-Muqawwalun Al-Arab, a club that you never heard of in your life.
He was at Bars, wasn't he? He was at Bars, wasn't he, at that time, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes. Salah was like scoring against every Premier League team he came up against when he was
at what age did Sterling go to City?
Sterling at 22.
When he was like
Sterling
20.
at 22 would have been 16, 17. So.
Yeah.
Or start of 17, 18.
Sterling.
So he probably was at Liverpool. I thought he'd be at Liverpool at that time.
He was born in 94, Sterling, 8th of December 94. So when he was 22, that'll be 2016, 17. So he was in his second season after moving for 50 million quid. And he already had European Golden Boy at that point. He was already on, I think, close to 40 or 50 Premier League goals. He was playing week in, week out for Pep Guardiola. You know, he was one of the best wingers in the league. Like, there's not really an argument. And this has come from a guy, by the way, who fucking hates Raheem Sterling. Can't stand this. But I can respect what he's done as a footballer.
Okay. Guys, how do we have about like 500 votes? 500 votes, and we only have 240 likes. Can we get the likes up to 500? It will help the show.
The people love democracy.
Yes.
They love democracy. Anyway, which team should we start with?
Which team do
I've only been able to watch the City game because I was at a wedding on Saturday and editing a wedding video on Sunday, so I can only talk about City.
Which team should we start with?
That was your loss for missing out on Arnie Slotball. Unlucky lad. Maybe next.
Oh no, to be fair, I did watch most of Liverpool. In fairness, in between breaks.
So we actually start on Chelsea. I want to actually before we go to Arsenal, I want to actually start with Chelsea.
I didn't watch that game, by the way. I didn't watch the Chelsea game because it wasn't on telly. I couldn't watch it because I had to watch Bournemouth Newcastle instead.
Yeah, it was on Bournemouth Newcastle was on. I don't know what was. It's not even on TV again. We're facing Crystal Palace actually next week as well. So. And we're not even
couldn't watch it. Couldn't watch it. I had to watch possibly the worst Newcastle performance I've seen in about 2 years.
Yes,
I can't lie. Newcastle, bro,
it was horrific, bro. Emil, you cannot. I said it on the terrace, I think, or with HUSAM and Emil. You're not gonna achieve something with Jacob Murphy and Emil Kraft starting for your team. It's not gonna happen.
That team looks awful, to be honest.
Lad,
without Botman and Shaw and not a right winger, the team looks not great.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna talk. Let's talk about Chelsea. For the people that didn't watch the game, I'm just gonna summarize it to you. Did you watch it, Rory?
No, but I saw the extended highlights. So
basically, Chelsea did a 10 out of 10 second half. Created about 7 chances, scored 4. And allowed Wolves 0.1 XG. Zilch, nothing. First half was end-to-end game, basketball game. Chance here, chance there, free kick here, free kick there. You know, no one wants to cover. Chelsea in the second half looked like a team that is ready to win every game. Just that second half only. And if you look at this game,
4 goals off 0.89 xG.
That's by the way, this game proves to me one thing: no one knows what XG is and how to actually interpret
it. No, they do. It's just that the goals that Madueke particularly scored, even the goal that Felix scored, but the Madueke goal, because they were all from the near post, those just aren't generally high XG chances, because generally a keeper will save them. Jose Sa just had a bit of a poor day. And Madueke is also very good from that position.
You want to replace Jose Sa now with like Ramsdale?
Yeah. The issue is XG doesn't account for the player. So XG accounts for a typical winger in that position would score this amount of times on average. It doesn't account for the fact that Madueke from that position seemingly is very, very good. But
maybe that's
funny thing because
maybe
Wolves
update the
stats.
You know what I mean, for player specifics. Hey, but we'll see.
Maybe.
But you know what I will say about Chelsea. So first half, bro, was that's a heart attack waiting to happen. Honestly, I think for me, the midfield was terrible. Caicedo was really bad in the first half. He was just dropping stinker after stinker there. He was just getting the ball ripped off of him at the end of the day. But I think for me, once he tweaked it to make sure Enzo stays in the 6 and Caicedo became the box to box, that literally brought a lot of solidity back into the team, and that's literally what allowed us just to kick on and just do the attack. Because attacking wise, we were doing really great in the first half, and even in the second half, we looked even better. So once he sort of Mudryk in for Neto, that was GG's, man. And honestly, man, Madueke, at least he stood on business in it. You know, if you're gonna call another place shit, you got to stand on business in it. You know what I mean? You can't drop a stick.
Do you know what I don't understand? Why are Chelsea want another winger? Why Sancho though? It doesn't make any sense to me.
I have no idea.
Why are you trying to understand Chelsea transfer business?
I don't understand Chelsea transfer business, bro. So it
didn't make any sense, that link. Like they wanna get another winger.
I think
off here we goes. Their season's built around how many here we goes can we have? That's all.
I think Chelsea, we might be getting a transfer ban soon because of the historic cases that we've reported under Roman. So I think maybe they're trying to essentially stockpile for like maybe a season, if not, or maybe 2 seasons. I don't know how long it's going to be. Maybe a season or 2 to have like some players in at the very least. And at least I think from that perspective, it might make sense. It might make sense from there.
What historical charges are you getting done with?
So basically, the club, when the new ownership brought the club, they basically found we were making extra payments to agents to get players in, like Hazard, Christensen. I think Willian was another one, actually, funnily enough. Can't believe we did that for Willian, but I think there's another 2 players as well. So they self-reported, and so there's a potential reality that we might get like a transfer ban, which is on the table.
But on the game,
I was going to ask Ahmed, how did? Again, I didn't watch the game. I've just very briefly watched the goals and seen where the goals came from. Looks like basically it was right wing FC, right side FC.
Bro, side FC was cooking, bro. I can't lie to you. Palmer and Madueke, bro. Palmer was passing to Madueke in the second half, and Madueke his first shot bang. That's literally what he was doing. But at least the last 2 goals.
Who was left back for Wolves?
I
told Husam yesterday.
I know barbecue chicken in that game.
Nouri cooked Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo in the first goal. Cooked them, right? Defensively, Madueke didn't only cook him. That's why. Wolves, if one of the people that have been watching me for a while is a Wolves fan, they said that Gary O'Neill just decided to play 4 at the back against Chelsea this game. And they don't have fullback, they have wing backs.
Mm-hmm.
He got cooked in this game. He was isolated. He didn't know where to stand. And they were ripped apart.
He's apparently the number 1 guy who should be replacing Andy Robertson, a guy who can't even defend Madueke.
You know what the issue is? I don't understand. Listen, I know Aït-Nouri going forward. He's actually great. I will never disagree about his attacking talents. But defensively, you've seen it for the last 3 years. He's not good defensively. I don't know why this thing has come up about Aït-Nouri being good defensively. He always gets cooked whenever I watch him. So unless you're gonna play him as a wing back, which might be at least stop his defensive priorities, but hide his defensive priorities. There's no point of having him in your team. I'll be real.
Does anybody see this Chelsea team be consistent at all? Be honest.
I just refuse to fall into the trap again. How many times last season did we say? How many? Honestly, last season, the amount of times we said, "Oh, I think Chelsea have turned the corner," and then
I need 5 weeks. I need 5 weeks, man.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going off one game against Wolves where they did look very, very good, especially in the second half. I'm not using that to be like, "Oh, Chelsea have turned the corner."
I'll be honest, man. Servette, yeah, you better be beating Servette by that scoreline on Thursday. Yeah. So that's all I have to say. If that happens, and then Crystal Palace, I might be open to changing my minds. But I said before, let me see end of September where we're at.
We have to wait until the transfer market ends.
I still think you've got to commit to dropping one of Caicedo. And I know Lavia was injured yesterday, but like...
I agree. I think it's probably...
Enzo's going to be dropped. Enzo's going to be dropped. Lavia and Caicedo are going to start.
Yeah, bro.
You know what the problem is? Who's going to be the captain?
Don't worry, man. Just give it to, what's it called?
Palmer.
Let's give it to Fofana. What's Fofana? It'll be fine. We can give it to him. He's a leader.
I actually think Fofana should be dropped. You should get another centre back.
Well, we're going to get another one.
They can't buy another one. They've not got rid of any of the
Why
ones.
Why not, bro? Disasi apparently is set to leave. Well, Disasi is about to leave, actually, funnily enough.
So wait.
So
who the fuck are buying
but,
don't ask with Chelsea. There is the most money in the transfer market now.
Hey,
don't ask where.
We're the best at selling.
Chelsea have their ways.
No,
Arsenal are begging clubs to take Eddie Nketiah, where Chelsea just offload their players like this.
Whichever director of football pays Chelsea for Axel Disasi deserves to be sacked on the spot. He's horrendous.
Listen, man. We can listen. We managed to get Man United to buy Mason Mount from us. And you've seen how that's turned out. So
yeah, but Mason Mount had so much positive PR to ride through that. I don't even think Chelsea fans like Disasi.
No, I don't really hate Disasi as much as some people. The reason why they don't like Disasi is actually because of Chalobah, which I actually agree with to an extent. They should not have done that for Chalobah, but we move.
I remember Disasi had one good game last season, and I was hearing Saliba come outside, but that kind of...
Yes, I heard that.
I also remember. The only thing I remember from Disasi last year was the own goal he scored at Leicester.
Listen, that was on Sanchez. I'll be real. That was definitely on Sanchez. I'm not even going to hold it on him. By the way, Sanchez.
That was on your number one goal for this entire season.
He's not my number one goalkeeper, mate. He's not my number one goalkeeper. But I will give him credit. He's not my but I will give him credit actually. The second goal, he actually hit that pretty quickly under one. Jackson little flick into Palmer for the goal. That was a pretty good thing from him. So gotta give him credit there.
Just for Chelsea, we'll have to wait and see, as Rory said. It's just we're not going to fall into the trap again, to be honest. But talking about Arsenal and Aston Villa, I heard it all, right? Like, including myself. Arsenal were not great, but they won the game. People don't want to give them credit. Arsenal haven't won against Mikel Arteta, haven't won against Emery before, if I'm not mistaken. Or he has won one and lost 5. And then Arsenal win the game, and everyone is saying, yeah, but you conceded a lot of chances. But you should have been 2-0 down.
Yeah.
No one wants to give credit to Arsenal. Are you happy with the performance, Rory?
I was relatively happy with the first half performance. And then the first 15 to 20 minutes of the second half I thought was quite poor. And then obviously we got the goal potentially, or no, we did get the goal probably against the run of play. And after we got the first goal, I thought it was kind of cruise control from there. I do think, like, yes, Villa missed Ollie Watkins missed 2 massive chances, right? For me, the first one is a foul on Gabriel. I think that gets given as a foul 95% of the time. And the second big chance, like, we didn't actually do a lot wrong. We pushed them into having a shot from outside the box. It took a crazy deflection and then rebounded off the bar into his path. So I was like, they were the 2 main chances. Outside of those chances, we didn't concede a crazy amount. The only worrying thing for me was the lack of control we had in the midfield. We're used to winning the midfield battle, and we comfortably lost the midfield battle against Villa. So that was the most concerning part. But yeah, overall, look, we won the game on the moments. Last season against Villa, especially Villa at home, we outplayed them. Like in the first half, we dominated them. We missed an unbelievable amount of chances, and then we lost the game. And no one wanted to talk about how Arsenal had so many chances and had outplayed them and all that. It was all about how Arsenal had bottled it and this, that, and the other. So, yeah, the way that the narrative flips to avoid praising Arsenal in either situation, for some people, is interesting. But the important thing was, got the 3 points, got the job done, kept another clean sheet.
Performances.
Why did you lose the midfield battle?
Bro, Morgan Rogers, man, my word.
He was fucking
believe it or not, Nobbins, believe it or not, with Partey and Rice, they lost it physically.
Yes.
With Onana and Rodgers. Can you imagine Declan Rice and Thomas Partey? And physically, they couldn't compete with Rodgers and Onana at all.
I don't even think it's fair putting Onana in that same conversation.
I think it's Morgan Rogers.
No, Onana as well was running around like a maniac in that midfield, bro. It was like a maniac in that midfield, Onana.
It was a couple of things. Firstly, Unai Emery does actually still have Arteta's build-up sussed. In terms of the way we build out in a 3-2, he's got this, like basically their front six, especially with John McGinn buzzing around everywhere. Emery kind of has that sussed out, and I still don't think Arteta's sussed out how to then counter it. But yeah, we did lose it physically. I think Declan Rice is fatigued. In the 75th minute in the opening game against Wolves, he had like horrific cramp, which suggests that he is fatigued. And he looked at it again yesterday. And Thomas Partey, his legs are gone. Thomas Partey has this kind of real ferocious fan group that won't allow any Thomas Partey criticism. On the ball, he's still very talented. But the problem is he's used to still doing what he used to do, which is aggressively going to win the ball and then recovering if he doesn't. But he can't recover anymore. And that's what we've seen. And so the combination of those two and Morgan Rogers' unbelievable running power, I mean, he was bullying them. He actually, at one point, you just had to sit there and say, we're getting bullied here.
It was that moment where, he got past Partey dead easy, which isn't a shock, really. And then Rice is following alongside him, and he just does him about 3 times in 5 seconds. And
he was nasty.
He should have got an assist for the... I know that you might think it's a foul on Gabriel. We never got to see the replays on it, really, I never saw them anyway, to properly change my mind on it. But Watkins has to put that in the back of the net.
Watkins had his Arsenal shirt on today, man. Yesterday.
Rogers, though, I was so impressed by Morgan Rogers. That was a real performance.
Yeah, Tom, I was sitting here and saying, how can he be that good? And he just played Championship just a year ago.
You know, he played against us.
I was asking myself this question. If he's that good, why is this talented guy? And it's not only the power, the ball control when people are tackling him is crazy.
It's down to Emery. The manager deserves his praise for that, because albeit I didn't watch much of him at Middlesbrough because I only got to see the Carabao Cup games that they were in before
they faced us
January.
Actually,
he wasn't like this in those games.
Really?
No, he was. No, he actually
didn't watch at all.
Not to the same level. Not to the same level.
Maybe not to the same level, but you could actually see the talent that when he faced us, when they beat us, I think, if I'm not mistaken, at home in the Carabao Cup semi-final, he was really putting us to the...
Nobbins, if you haven't watched it, go on Twitter and just type Morgan Rogers for Arsenal. It looks crazy.
Yeah.
How can someone be that strong and that good on the ball and just starting to play in the Premier League? I didn't understand it, to be honest.
But I do think Thomas Partey, the fact that he was doing it against Thomas Partey helped it to look better. Because I even saw it against Wolves. I saw the same thing against Wolves. Matez Cunha came on and did the exact same thing. Not the exact same thing, but a similar thing. There's a reason that we've gone 10 million over our valuation to bring in Mikel Merino. I think Arteta is well aware that this season, our biggest weakness right now is that, basically, in midfield. And we're bringing in the guy that won more duels.
I was on the other camp, Rory. I was on the other camp defending Thomas Partey and thinking that Thomas Partey is still your best DM. Watching this game, he really was getting bullied, and I'm thinking, this cannot continue. You can't continue like this. That it shouldn't be Arsenal's midfield in front of the defense that have someone like Thomas Partey that doesn't track, doesn't tackle, or just not winning his duels. And I agree with you. Maybe Declan Rice is just going to go to the 6 now, which is the future plan, because. But on the other hand, on the positive, and the super chat that came in is that Mr. Gaspar here is saying, is Saliba the best centre back in the league right now? Rory.
Another really good game. Another really.
I think yes. I think it's very.
Why are people scared to say that? Then a lot of people are just not saying it.
One, because he plays for Arsenal, I think, but maybe his age is another factor. Like people forget he is still only 23. But it's just very difficult to argue against it at this point.
It's really him or VVD, honestly.
It's going to come down to who you prefer out of Van Dijk and Saliba. They are a unanimous 1 and 2, and I don't think any other centre back in the league comes close. It comes down to what you prefer from a centre back, or who you think is showing the slightly higher levels. Because it's hard to judge them together and like compare them together because we don't know what Slot's going to be like. We have seen big improvements in out of possession structure this season, but last season you couldn't compare Arsenal to Liverpool because we defended in such different ways that it was asking entirely different things of the centre backs to do. So you can't do just a direct comparison. So it's hard to say. I mean, I just put the pair of them in a separate category to everyone else, like ahead of your Gabriels, your Canates, your Martinez. Is anyone else who is decent as a centre back? They sit below Saliba and Van Dijk, and it was that recovery that he made on Ramsey. Yeah. Like Ramsey's touch is shit the second one. And I don't think other wingers necessarily take that bad a touch to open the door in the same way, but take nothing away from Saliba and just how quick he got back and recovered. Ridiculous.
The last thing about Arsenal before we go on is after the 55th minute, Arsenal went a gear up. You could see the gulf between them and Villa. Calafiori looked impressive. Also, Timber looked impressive, to be honest. And Saliba is the GOAT. Listen, the question that you would ask if you see a super chat like this is this Arsenal team enough? Is this Arsenal team right now enough? Does anybody think it's enough?
Yes, 100% it is.
Even with Martinez on the left?
Yes, because they've also got Trossard on the left. Like, I think this Arsenal team is good enough right now to win the league. It finished 2 points off last season and has strengthened. And I don't think... I know that City have brought back Gundogan, which is fucking annoying. But I don't think City have strengthened as much as Arsenal have. I think the gap was closed again. And adding on to the fact that Arsenal seemingly don't have any of this, their mentality hasn't gone, oh my God, we lost again, fuck's sake, what are we going to do? They went, right, okay, we go again then. I do think that this might be the year where they get over the line. Like, that Villa away game.
Have you watched Erling Haaland?
I have watched Erling Haaland, yes.
Wait till he comes up. But wait till he comes up against a good centre-back again.
Have you seen Kevin De Bruyne picking passes?
Yes. I've seen all this for fucking 6 years. I know what they can do.
Okay.
City won the opening 6 games of last season. It's to be expected.
Guys, City look impressive more than last season. They went one goal down, and the variety of goals they scored.
I'm taking that Ipswich game with large amounts.
What I will say, are you guys facing each other like in 3 weeks' time, right? Arsenal. So listen, we'll see that in that, man. It's an early fixture.
I don't think the games matter. After last season, when Arsenal got 4 points, I don't think the 2 games matter. I changed my opinion. I think this time, I changed my opinion. I changed my opinion completely.
I think this time it will matter. I'll be honest.
This season, I think this time it's actually the games didn't matter because they couldn't get over Villa. They've now got over Villa.
Now they have,
and that was going to be.
Yeah, I see your point. And that's a massive point.
So Arsenal are already 3 points better off than they were last season.
And you can make the argument, if it does go down, if it goes down to the line, these 2 games are going to be the games that decide it. So you might as well, do something with those games.
Plus, I have a real sort of on that Ipswich result because that fucking Juric, I don't know why anyone signed him after what he'd done at Burnley last season. And once again, he was dog shit again. He is horrendously bad. What the fuck is that man doing for each of the second and third goal? I don't want to take anything away from Savio because it's really good pressing to win it back off the keeper. Don't ask me why he's trying to play out from the back because there's no centre back there. And then on the third one, the ball goes over the top. When Haaland's running in behind, you don't come out to get there because you're not going to get there. What does he do? He waits about 2 seconds and then comes out. So Haaland nods it past him, and the keeper's like, "Oh no, what do I do?"
But then
now?"
again, that's why he was the Burnley keeper, innit? So, hey,
He's the same Burnley keeper who threw away a win against Brighton last season by letting the ball roll under his foot, and people signed him. They paid like 10 million quid for him.
He also used to play for City.
You know what it is, man. I
well,
feel like a
there you
lot of
go.
teams have got like we can fix this player attitude these days.
Brown
man, you know what I
envelope
mean?
type stuff. That's what it was. Bet he shook fucking Pep's hand after the game, didn't he? Dodgy bastards.
Arsenal still need an attacker, in my opinion.
Yeah, we need an attacker. I think
You need an attacker because Kai Havertz last game, Kai Havertz. But I got attacked a lot because I was saying that Havertz was not good enough. And I said that sometimes Arsenal needs someone to lift the pressure of Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka, second half, was doing everything. Everything was going through Bukayo Saka.
But
he was trying to dribble two players. And Emery figured it out. He had McGinn and Lukadin always on Bukayo Saka. Always, the whole time. And that will happen over and over again.
I don't know. I didn't think Havertz played badly. My worry is the depth of the attack in terms of Martinelli looks really out of form. Now, maybe Merino coming in helps that. I still think Martinelli receives the ball far too deep, more in a sort of left wing back position, and hopefully Merino can help solve that issue. But in general, he just looks so devoid of confidence in the final third. So based on that and the fact that Jesus is injured, and fine, supposedly Jesus will be back after the international break. But let's be real, Jesus is not going to stay fit all season. That's going to be a recurring problem. Yeah. That leaves us with Saka, Havertz, and Trossard. And that's it. That level of depth, when you're looking to the bench then to bring on impact. Okay, you've got Reece Nelson, who Arteta just does not have faith in. And that's it. And Nketiah is going to be going. Fabio Vieira's gone. Emil Smith-Rowe is gone. Waneri
that's worrying.
Is the only other player, but I don't think we really want to be using him as a wide player. I think he's really Ødegaard's understudy. So I think that's the one side.
I didn't actually know your attacking depth was that little, bro. That's actually kind of mad.
Yeah.
So
Martinelli's not a winger, is he? Like from
I don't know
what
what
I've seen
Martinelli
the
is
past
at this
year and a
point.
half, he's not.
Do you know what tactically? Do you know what the problem was, Tom? On the right side, Ben White and Ødegaard were pushing Saka to receive the ball higher on the pitch. I have seen numerous times in this game Martinelli received the ball on the halfway line because Timber was inverting, and Martinelli is asked to drive 50 yards with the ball and dribble the fullback and deliver a cross while having someone in front of him and someone behind him, and no one is overlapping with the guy.
Yes.
And he was just by him on his own. I'm not saying he's amazing and everything, but maybe that's the reason.
I think it is what it is. I think that's part, but I also think he's just not a winger in the sense of his best aspects come when he's in the central areas, when he's closer to goal, when he's in and around the penalty area. Where he's ending up playing right now is like a touchline winger. And I don't think he's a touchline winger in the sense of he's not necessarily the greatest at beating his man and putting a cross in.
Exactly.
I don't think he's necessarily the greatest at linking up with a fullback and then providing the width for that fullback to come inside. I don't think that's his game. I feel like that's more of what Saka would be better at. But Saka's got the perfect dynamics on that side. I think at Arsenal, Martinelli's just he's become basically forgotten about in the sense of everything has been sort of built around getting Ødegaard and Saka into the perfect positions. And Martinelli is basically just being told, you need to go there because that helps the dynamics of this team. Like, there's more space for people to occupy. There's more space to drive into, this, that, and the other. And Martinelli's game has basically been forgotten about at a point. I know he's probably not physically good enough to play there, but Martinelli up front is probably the way you get close to something back out of him. Get him back in and around the area. Because I actually think he's a very good finisher. I think right now he's not been put in them positions to score. And the difference with Trossard is I think Trossard's got more IQ. Because he's older, he's more experienced. Trossard picks up space better. Trossard finds the gaps better. Trossard reads the game better. So that goal he scored on the weekend, Martinelli doesn't read the game and see that tackle is going to fall there. He's not instinctive like that where Trossard is. But I think that if Arsenal were to buy an attacker, it has to be a left-sided winger whose strengths lie at holding the width and can go 1v1 with the fullback and put in dangerous deliveries. I know it's probably not going to happen because he wants to stay, but the big name being murmured around recently has been what's it called?
Nico
Williams, who is the kind of guy that I'm on about there, someone who can go right on the touchline, beat a man, create from out wide. I think that's what makes sense for Arsenal's system, because you have that left back who inverts into centre mid or inverts into centre back, depending on what White's doing. White bombs on. Saka gets to like drift in or out depending on the run that's been made. There's just not that dynamic down the left, and I do think that you can get away.
Merino will help.
He will do, but then I also think you're putting a lot of stress onto him to cover so much ground, because
Declan Rice is behind him, Tom. There's no Thomas Partey. Declan Rice is going to be the same.
But it's in the sense of when in possession, Merino then has to bomb out wide left to cover to pick up that space so Martinelli can then drift inside. But the moment it's out of possession, Merino then has to bomb all the way back into the middle to ensure that
Granit Xhaka didn't use to overlap. So Tom, Granit Xhaka didn't use only to overlap. Xhaka used to underlap, which takes another guy to leave Martinelli isolated. You don't have to overlap. The problem is Martinelli gets by himself when like 30 yards around him, and there is no one around but two defenders, because no one is occupying that area across the box like Xhaka used to do. It doesn't have to be an overlap. It can be an underlap. You can be inside the pitch. At least take the attention from Martinelli. That's my take on it. And Merino should be able to do that with Declan Rice behind, because Declan Rice yesterday or 2 days ago, Thomas Partey needed help, and Declan Rice wanted to drop back because Timber was going to the left back off the ball because they needed someone to cover that area. It's complicated, but I think it all comes down to the system, to be honest. Nobbins, do you have any take on this Martinelli? Go ahead, Rory. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think Merino helps it. I think having, the entire left-hand side being right-footed players, I just don't think is balanced. I do think Merino can do exactly what Xhaka used to do, which Rice, if Rice makes that underlapping run, then instinctively he wants to turn out rather than play it across the box because it's on his weak side. Like, there's a lot of issues over there. I also think I would compare Martinelli, not in ability necessarily, but to like current Heung-min Son, where Heung-min Son is not a touchline winger. And actually, as soon as Tottenham play him more centrally, he's far more effective. I think Martinelli is a bit like that, but I think Arteta wants a touchline winger. I think Neto is the one that got away. Because I do think whoever it is needs to be someone that can play off both sides, because we do still need a real capable backup, at least for Bukayo Saka, or alternative for Bukayo Saka if he needs a rest. Yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on it. Nobbins.
Yeah. I want to take Nobbins' take on this.
Again, I didn't watch the game, but on Martinelli, he thrives when he gets touches in the penalty box, basically. I guess that's sort of at odds with Pep and Arteta's general philosophy of they like it when their wide players are wide and hold the width, because then that generates space for others. So I don't know what the solution is, because again, Martinelli's best work is when he's able to be in the box. But again, that seems sort of slightly at odds with Arteta's general style. So I don't know what the solution is. Maybe Merino comes in, he plays a similar way to Xhaka, that unlocks more out of Martinelli. But yeah, sorry, I can't really offer anything of value because I didn't watch the game. I apologize. Well, I don't apologize. I was at the wedding, but yeah, you get it.
Bermuda Kuna said, absolutely, Saliba. Van Dijk couldn't have made that tackle, let's be honest, and not have agendas. Tom.
Van Dijk's made that tackle for 6 years. What are we on about? Van Dijk's entire game was based around recovery runs after his shit offside line is beaten. That's what it's where his strengths lie. Of course, Van Dijk could make that fucking tackle. Let's not take the piss here.
But William Saliba has something that I think only Van Dijk has in the league: reading the pass before it happens. That wouldn't pick up on the stats, by the way. It wouldn't pick up, like, you wouldn't see an interception or a tackle here. But if you watch the game, especially the people that go to the stadium, and I'm seeing it on TV sometimes, I know that the defender or the midfielder didn't make that pass just because of the movement of Saliba and Van Dijk. Just because they moved into that space that prevented the play from happening. That's not a stat. You won't pick it up. It's just you have to know that this is happening. That's William, Saliba, and Van Dijk only. Kevin here is saying, everyone just go back and watch where Martinelli operated a couple of years ago. He is nowhere near these spots anymore. That's what we're saying. He was very close to the 18, receiving the ball at 10 yards, and you're inside the 18. Now he has to run 50 yards. You're spot on.
He also just doesn't get anywhere near the same opportunities to run in behind that he did 2 years ago. Like, the teams that we play against now, on average, are 10, 15 yards deeper in their defense. And so that pace to run in behind that Martinelli used to use is almost redundant at this point.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. I want to go to City a little bit. Just talk a little bit about Manchester City and the plans and Savio and Doku. Do you think the future, do you think this season you go whole season with them? And where would Foden fit?
Oh, that's the good news, isn't it? That, City are, I know we're only 2 games in, but City do look very good. And they also look very fun and exciting. So if you're a neutral, you probably like that as well.
Thank you so much. I admitted that last day, by the way, Nobbins. You remember I used to say City's boring?
Yes.
I said that the other day to HUSAM, and he's like, why? How do you praise City? I said, because of the reality with Savio and Doku, they look so exciting. When they get the ball, I'm off my seat. I'm waiting for something to happen. So, yeah, I agree. I just wanted to interject and say that.
No, of course. Yeah. It is very fun. And again, the good news from a City perspective is that our 2 best players from last season are still to come into the side. I don't know whether we play this exact system across the entirety of the season, but if we did, then you could very easily just take out Kovacic, put in Rodri, take out Bernardo Silva, put in Foden, and the team would still work in the same way, and it would actually work better, to be honest. Again, based on last season, those 2 being our best players. And it's devastating. Last season, we've spoken about it a lot. City relied so much on our left side, in particular with Doku. Our right side basically didn't exist because Kyle Walker was there, and now got Savio, who is brilliant. That's how the first goal was scored. Him willing to take his man on and take him to the byline, win the foul, get the penalty, and then from there, City tore Ipswich apart in a similar manner in which how they tried to attack Chelsea. With De Bruyne going out to that left side. That's how the was it the second or third goal was scored. Where De Bruyne picking up a spot at left back / left wing. For once, we're actually trying to get the most out of Haaland. It's it sounds stupid to say, despite him scoring 36 goals in his first year, but City have never been set up to get the most out of Haaland ever. So the fact he was able to score that many goals, it was ridiculous. So this could be a season where actually everything's geared towards him. The amount of times De Bruyne would pick up the ball and immediately the first instinct was right, first time ball into the box, bam. It was very un-City-like against Ipswich. And again, maybe that's just because it was Ipswich, but there were similar things against Chelsea as well, when again, we were just willing to secede a little bit of control if it meant releasing Haaland a little bit quicker and to devastating effect. So yeah, the introduction of Savio is good for Haaland. And this system is very good for De Bruyne, and anything that's good for De Bruyne, by extension, is very good for Haaland. And also our defenders have been very good so far this season. So yeah, long may that continue.
Do you feel like you're in control with this system? The way that Savio and Doku don't keep the ball, they just go and try to make things happen. It's different than how you played in the last 2 seasons, where you're in full control of what's going on the pitch. Which shows, by the way, the goal you scored, you lost the ball, and then everyone's out of position. Did you notice that? The goal you conceded, everyone was out of position. The run was made in between the lines because you're not used to losing the ball that easy because you lost it around the 18. Do you feel like that you're in control with that way of Savio and Kevin De Bruyne spamming the ball? Kevin De Bruyne probably had like 80% pass percentage because every time, as you said, he was trying to make, okay, I'm making the ball in the 18. I'm making Savio run. I'm making Haaland run. And then that you're not in control. That's different than how we watched City in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, it's... I guess the trade-off you have is that you're sort of using like outright attack almost as control in a way, because City committing 6 offensive bodies minimum, and it meant that certainly against Ipswich, everyone had to push back and defend and get everyone really behind the ball in a really, really low block at times, because they just could. And then because their starting point is so deep for the opposition, it means that they can't counterattack. So even when City are spamming the ball in or whatever, and they clear it, there's no one to start a counter-attack, and it's just picked up by another, like a City defender like Ruben Diaz, and then it's rinse and repeat. So that is the trade-off. And against Chelsea, there were moments where we allowed them to counter-attack. So yeah, there's definitely some like tweaking that needs to be done. But certainly against sides where you expect to absolutely dominate the possession anyway, especially if they set up in the back five, like as Ipswich did, it makes perfect sense to just commit as many bodies forwards, because that in turn pins them back, and that in turn means that, again, if their starting position is deeper, it makes it harder to counterattack. And as we know, City's biggest weakness is the counterattack. So it's like offense is turning into the defense in that respect by, again, forcing the opposition's defensive line back. I don't think we'll play like that against Arsenal, Liverpool, for example. I'd be very surprised if that happened. I still think it's a very specific use thing, and it remains to be seen what our main system will be this season. But it could be that, and so far it's worked. And again, it's been very fun to watch. It gets the most out of our wingers, gets more out of De Bruyne, gets more out of Haaland. And again, still need Rodri to come back, and we still need Foden to come back. Our two best players last season. It's looking good so far.
Yeah. I'm watching the City, and I'm like, it's exciting, to be honest. As you said, it's more exciting. I hope that he doesn't revert back to being slow and boring as much, because Arsenal are turning into that team as well. Arsenal are turning into that boring team. You are playing a boring football. More
when you've got a front three of Savio, Doku, Haaland, it's like it would be stupid to not utilize those assets. And it would be stupid to not get De Bruyne into positions where he can find those runs. So I think it's just by virtue of the players on the pitch, to be honest, as well. Like it doesn't make any sense to play slow, controlled football to that degree when you've got those players on the pitch. But that's why you've got a squad, to be fair. Like, there will be some games where you do need to do that. Like, if, for example, if we go away to Newcastle, I don't want to be playing like that. I want to be playing boring, controlled, measured football, because I want to get counted on. I want to get the 3 points. So that's why you've got a squad for different players, different purposes.
Yeah. So for just going on, I don't know what is happening.
What was that?
It's like a truck going by somebody. It's crazy.
No, I think it's me. I've just tried to turn it down. I don't know what's going on. Some fucking other people disturbing my day.
It's okay. It's all right. It's not that bad. It's okay.
It's annoying me enough.
It's okay. Just before we end the show, I wanted to speak about Liverpool and the targets this season, and Trent being upset after being subbed out.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of speculations about him leaving and stuff like this. Arne Slot said that he's tired, basically. He's just tired.
He didn't say that.
Trent was so good in that game.
No, he literally said that we want to use him for 38 games, not only 2 games. So that means he's not tired. He doesn't want to tire him.
He
managing him. Fair enough. He's my manager.
He doesn't want him to get injured. I think that's the biggest compliment that a player can have. The fact that we're willing. Trent was brilliant. We played very well again. Again, it's different from Klopp in certain ways. It's much more controlled. We gave up a couple of chances off set pieces, which, it's going to happen. But outside that, very good all around. Didn't really give up anything.
Speak about Diaz.
Yeah, Diaz had a good game. Good goal, good assist. It's all I ask from him. Be more consistent with the end product. I'm not going to change my opinion off one game, though, because if we go back to last week, Diaz was shit with the end product. He's inconsistent at best. If he can become consistent, then I won't want to sell him. But if he doesn't become consistent, then he has to go. It was a good performance from him. Really good assist. Great pass through to Salah. Ridiculous finish from Salah. Most players would go with the right foot there, but instead he opens up his entire body to put it on to his left and carry it into the corner. Brilliant finish. First goal, really good counter-attack, good movement from Diaz. He doesn't do what he sometimes does, which is take a shit touch, which takes him wider and then almost kills the opportunity. Puts that touch right in front of him so he can bear down on goal and on that weak foot puts in the back of the net. But for it was a controlled performance. Again, the big test is next week when we play United. Away from home.
It's not a test, but fine.
It is, because we didn't win there last year at all, or against them at any point. So a win would be an improvement.
Gravenberch, I said something Sam didn't like yesterday. Tactically, I thought Gravenberch has all the capabilities to be the DM. Physically, he's amazing. Covered a lot of ground yesterday. Passed He had 90 touches, which is close to Man City DM numbers, right, in a game. And he completed 92% of his passes. And by the way, I think 30% of his passes or 40% were forward passes, not sideways, not backwards. That's a very good numbers.
Gravenberch is basically, he's shown that he can be an option there.
Yes.
But Gravenberch cannot be your main guy there. I think he's been very good in the first couple of games. But would I trust him at DM against the City or against an Arsenal? No, I'll be honest, no, because there are still some weaknesses in this game, which is going to happen. He's not played DM. Do I think we're going to sign a DM? No. So he is going to have to play there, and if he can move on leaps and bounds and suddenly, make himself a real option in that spot, then I'll be very happy and I'll be the first with my words. But I just don't see it happening yet. It was another good performance from him, like you said. The range of passings there, he's comfortable with his back to play. Sorry, and
yes, very comfortable.
It's a problem Endo has, which Gravenberch doesn't. But yeah, good performance again. Another good performance to start the season. He's still he's proven that he's a good option. He shouldn't be the guy that Liverpool are turning to be the DM for the whole.
Why
season.
not? Why not?
Because
Why?
Because if you want to challenge for titles, Gravenberch can't be your DM.
Yeah, but Zubamendi is not even better than him. Physically, Gravenberch is superior. What is wrong with what I said? I was about to explain.
Mate.
Can you listen to me? Can you listen to me first? Gravenberch is quicker, physically stronger. He's younger. He doesn't have his experience. I give you that, right? And I think from what we have seen, he can pass the ball around as well. And also, you have McAllister who can dictate the game. So physically, if you're asking a DM, right? Gravenberch has all the capabilities to be there. He doesn't have just the experience.
Zubamendi's the better duel winner. Zubamendi's better in the air. Do I need my... Gravenberch would have been, what he's showing now, a good DM for Jurgen Klopp, because the DM had to cover a lot of ground under Jurgen Klopp. Now we have a double pivot, so the need for ground covering isn't as big. You just need to be able to win your duels, which Zubamendi does better than Gravenberch. Zubamendi's also a more natural DM. Yes, whilst Gravenberch has shown that he can play out from the back, he's not Zubamendi levels of playing out from the back. There's a difference. There is a reason why it is still imperative that Liverpool sign a DM. There is a reason we've been after that position for 3 summers. You need to buy one, because whilst Gravenberch has shown once again he can be an option, he can't be the guy long term. He can't be the guy that starts every single game.
I think he can be a long term. I think he can be long term if he keeps getting minutes. I think so. Why not?
Look, I'm happy with the performance that he put in, but it's just if I get a top DM, Gravenberch becomes their choice.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but who's the top DM?
Zubamendi.
He's out of the market for you. He's not.
No, I know. We established earlier that I don't think we're going to sign one this summer. So Gravenberch is going to have at least a season as the first choice. Do I think it's going to mean that he kicks on and becomes this top DM? Probably not, no. Because there are certain aspects.
So me and you disagree. I think he can kick on and be that top DM.
I hope he
maybe
does.
Not now, maybe in 15, 20 games.
Mo, I hope that we come back at the end of the season and I'm sitting here apologising to you and saying that Ryan Gravenberch has been one of the best DMs in the league. Do I see it happening? No. That's the difference. I just don't see him learning everything that he needs to learn. I think he can learn certain aspects, but he's not going to learn everything.
Kind of Lavia.
I mean, Lavia's had a good game in a year and a half. Well done to him. I still sit there though and go, you should have had... You should have got Zubamendi. I don't know why it hasn't come off, but you should have got Zubamendi.
It didn't. But I want to ask the last question before we're in the show.
I expect us to probably go back in for him next summer as well. Hopefully then he's decided to stop looking at the fucking mountains and getting hard-ons about the Spanish food.
Before we end the show, I want to ask just a question. Just question in the chat. There's 900 people or 800 people. Can Liverpool win the league? It's a yes or no question.
You need a fucking lot of luck.
Yes.
Luck.
A lot of luck.
Yes, they can.
Okay.
But they won't.
They won't.
They can. It's very unlikely.
If Arsenal and City both just suddenly died for whatever reason, their season just died, we would win the league. Yes.
They have a slim chance, but reality is no.
Okay. I think they can.
I hope we.
They don't have an equal chance as Arsenal and City, but I think it's not 3%. It's not. Because I think they have clutch players, and I think Arne Slot is a good manager.
Yes, and certain people.
Unless if one of your top guys get injured, now I've changed my opinion.
I want to see them against a good team. So far, they've only played Ipswich and Brentford. Respectfully, I'd like to see them
against Man United.
You said a good team.
No, I don't think United are good.
I mean, I don't know when our first proper.
What do you mean a good team? Like a Villa, or a Brighton?
Yeah, like a Villa.
That'll be in the Champions
Spurs,
League.
Arsenal, City.
Because we put our biggest after United, we play Forest, then Bournemouth, then Wolves, then Palace. Then
you must have a tough run at some point if you've got all these easy games.
Yeah, of course. They have everybody then. They have everyone then.
So
we have I think at Chelsea we have our October run. I'm pretty sure they must have it done.
What is after these games? You must have all the big team.
We played Chelsea, then Arsenal, then Brighton, then Villa, then Southampton, then City, then Newcastle, then Everton, all in the space of
that's like outside. Take out Southampton, and you've got 6 out of 7 games against top 8 or 9 teams.
And then even after that, a game or two after that, you've got Tottenham away. And that's without including all the Champions League games that are going to be in there. I think people, when we look at fixtures, forget there's going to be a lot of Champions League games that have got to be played in there as well. And
yeah, it's two extra Champions League games.
With the way the format is, you're not going to have these Europa League groups like Arsenal had last year. You're playing minimum 2 top-end teams. Minimum. Yeah. So it's going to be even more of an interesting one. It's going to come down to who manages the squad best, I feel.
We'll see how it goes. Listen, guys.
And maybe that's why Slot's willing to take off his big players after 70 minutes.
Before we go on, Rory's channel's in the description, and it's right here on the screen. It's going live today, 6:30 UK time. Talk about Eddie Nketiah and the potential of signing a new guy up top, of course. And of course, Nobbins, who hasn't analyzed yet the Ipswich game. I'm sure he's going to post a video soon. Nobbins' channel is in the description, so go and subscribe, of course. And Tom Little's channel as well is here. Danny's channel is in the description, but also Ahmed's channel is here. The Bridge 258. I hope you can one day change the 258.
I can't because the other one is a civil engineering channel. Ironic. My own job is killing me.
So Ahmed's channel as well is in the description this time. I want to thank everyone that joined, of course. Appreciate all the super chatters that supported the channel. Magnificent show. We had a little bit of an argument in the beginning. Analyzed the game, very calm and composed. I want to appreciate you guys all for being here. Rory, thank you. Tom, appreciate you. Nobbins, great to have you. And Ahmed, thank you for being here. We'll see you guys soon. Tomorrow, 1 p.m. UK time, myself, Don, and HUSAM. That would be a show. We'll see you guys soon. We're out of here, people.